Uncensored footage of the atomic bomb's devastation in Hiroshima. Uncensored footage from Hiroshima does more than show destruction. It captures the exact moment humanity crossed into the nuclear age. What those cameras recorded still challenges how we understand war, power, and consequence. Many people assume black and white film creates distance. Grainy images feel older, almost detached from real life. Hiroshima does not behave that way. The footage feels close and immediate. Streets that once held shops and trams appear in an instant, then vanish into ash. The camera does not hurry. It lingers long enough for the viewer to grasp that this was a living city only moments before. These images were not created for a single purpose. Some were filmed by American military crews assigned to document the results of the attack. Others came from Japanese sources that survived. Later, occupation teams and scientists carried cameras into the ruins to record what had happened. The result is not a polished story, but a record. Buildings torn open, bridges standing alone in empty fields of debris, people moving through silence with expressions that are hard to read. The word uncensored often suggests something graphic. Here it means something more direct. Nothing has been softened. The footage shows a city center erased in seconds. It shows dark outlines on the stone where a human figure once stood. It shows a watch frozen at 8:15 in the morning. No added narration is needed. The evidence is plain. Written reports can list numbers and estimate the blast radius. Film does something different. In December 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, drawing the United States fully into the Second World War. What followed in the Pacific was a brutal struggle across islands such as Iwo Jima and Okinawa. Casualties mounted. Many Japanese units refused surrender. American planners studied the cost of each battle and feared what an invasion of Japan's main islands would demand. Military leaders believed such an invasion would cost enormous numbers of lives. At the same time, scientists working in secret were building something entirely new. The Manhattan Project brought together physicists and military officers under strict security. Their goal was clear: develop an atomic weapon before Nazi Germany could do so. In July 1945, the first atomic device was tested in the New Mexico desert. The Trinity test proved the theory. A new force had been released. With Japan still refusing surrender, attention turned toward a city that had not yet been heavily bombed. On August 6, 1945, a B-29 bomber named Enola Gay took off from Tinian Island. Inside its bomb bay sat a uranium device called Little Boy, estimated at about 15 kilotons of explosive force. Weather reports were checked. The aim point was the T-shaped Aioi Bridge near the center of Hiroshima. Every system was reviewed. The bomb would be armed in flight. While the aircraft moved north over the Pacific, Hiroshima woke to a clear summer morning. Streetcars began their routes. Workers entered factories. Children walked to school. Air raid warnings had sounded many times before and often meant nothing. That morning felt ordinary. At 8:15 a.m., the bomb was released. The footage shows a flash that floods the frame. In less than a second, a chain reaction produced a fireball. Temperatures near the center reached thousands of degrees. A shockwave followed at high speed. Wooden homes ignited. Roof tiles shattered. Windows burst outward. From the air, blocks of buildings turned into a spreading field of smoke. Later images show clocks recovered from the ruins, hands fixed at 8:15. Time itself seemed suspended. Cameras continued recording. Aerial surveys revealed a wide circle of destruction. More than half the city was damaged or destroyed. Hiroshima's flat terrain allowed the shockwave to travel without obstruction. Structures near the center vanished. Farther out, walls stood without roofs. Streets lost their shape. Ground footage makes the loss more personal. Familiar markers are gone. There are no clear boundaries between neighborhoods. A downtown district has become an open ground covered in debris. Smoke drifts through empty space where daily life once moved. Then the human images appear. Survivors move slowly through the ruins. Many have burns across their arms and faces. Clothing hangs in tatters. Some press cloth against the injured skin. Their expressions are subdued, almost blank. Confusion is visible. Few understood what had happened. Some believed a large fuel depot had exploded. Communication lines were destroyed. Officials stood amid the ruins of their own offices trying to piece together events. Hospitals near the center were flattened. Doctors and nurses were killed. Medical supplies lay buried under rubble. The wounded gathered at the few clinics still standing. Water became urgent. Survivors searched for wells and rivers. Many reached the banks of the Ata River and collapsed beside the water. Soon another danger emerged, one that could not be seen. Hours after the explosion, witnesses described heavy, dark rain falling over parts of the city. The blast had carried ash and radioactive particles high into the sky. As the cloud cooled, that material returned to Earth mixed with moisture. The so-called black rain left streaks on clothing and skin. Puddles formed in low areas. People drank from them, unaware of the risk. Illness followed in the days ahead. Fever, weakness, bleeding. Hair fell out. Wounds failed to heal. The connection to radiation was not immediately understood. Knowledge of radiation sickness developed slowly and often through tragic experience. News moved outward from Hiroshima. President Harry S. Truman addressed the American public by radio. He confirmed that a single atomic bomb had destroyed the city and described it as a measure intended to end the war quickly. Many Americans reacted with relief. Years of fighting had exhausted families. Reports focused on the possibility of surrender. Few fully grasped the long-term health effects. 3 days later, a second bomb fell. The intended target was Kokura, but cloud cover forced the aircraft toward Nagasaki. Another explosion followed. On August 15, 1945, Emperor Hirohito addressed the Japanese people and announced surrender, referring to a new and terrible weapon. The atomic age had begun. Weeks later, cameras returned to Hiroshima with American occupation forces and scientific teams. They measured radiation levels and documented structural damage. Film from these surveys shows near total leveling in every direction from ground zero. Only a handful of reinforced structures remain standing, hollowed out inside. Early predictions suggested the city might remain uninhabitable for decades. Those forecasts proved wrong. Survivors cleared debris with simple tools. Temporary shelters rose among broken foundations. Markets reopened in limited form. Children resumed school in makeshift classrooms. Flowers appeared in soil once thought barren. Oleanders bloomed among the rubble and later became a symbol of recovery. One structure near the center remained as a reminder. The Hiroshima Prefectural Industrial Promotion Hall, later known as the Atomic Bomb Dome, stood with its frame intact while the surrounding city had fallen. It was preserved as a memorial. During the war, many images were restricted. Governments controlled what could be shown. Graphic scenes were limited to maintain morale. Over time, more complete archives became available. Documentaries presented material that earlier audiences had never seen in full. Modern nuclear weapons exceed the force used in 1945 many times over. Hiroshima became both a warning and a reminder of what a single device can do. Hiroshima today is a modern city filled with traffic and schools. The atomic bomb dome stands against a rebuilt skyline, a preserved ruin that anchors memory in place. The uncensored footage of Hiroshima does more than document destruction. It shows the moment humanity proved it could erase a city in seconds. It asks us to weigh scientific achievement against moral judgment. Each frame carries a quiet warning. If this account has changed how you view history, share your thoughts below. Subscribe for more examinations of the moments that reshaped our world and the images that keep them alive.